Hello all, Carter here from Engage the Unseen. I promised you guys a gear video, and that's what I'm going to give you. It's going to be pretty rudimentary, nothing's plugged in, I'm just going to tell you about what I use. I have a pretty simple setup, so let's get started with what you're looking at right now. What you are looking at is a 120 watt switchable to 60 watts Agnator Armageddon amp. This amp features 3 channels. It has got a built-in ISP decimator noise gate. Let's see if you can see that there. Probably one of the best gates out there. Having it built into the amp is absolutely incredible. I did use the Agnator Vengeance amp. If you see some older photos, you can see that. It just wasn't really cutting it, so I went the next step up and got the Armageddon, and I am so glad I did. It is a monster. Its cleans are astounding, its crunch is amazing, and the depth of it is just a fantastic amp. One of my favorite features of it is it has a controllable loop section. So if we pull the amp out here and go around to the back, you see when I input the loop, I can control the send and return levels, and that's a really big thing for some musicians, especially if you're using any kind of phasers or flangers, noise gates even too, but with this, of course, I won't need one since it's built in. When you do those send and return levels, you can control the amount of effect you have running through your amp. Another thing is the verb is on the back here. I don't use any verb on channel 3, that is my rhythm channel. Put a little bit on channel 2 for the solos, and the clean has a little verb just to keep it sparkly. It's switchable between 16, 8, and 4 ohms, which is pretty standard nowadays. It's also MIDI capable. I don't use anything that requires MIDI, so I haven't ever used that feature, so I couldn't tell you about it. Foot switch is really cool. We'll talk about that in a minute. It is controlled by an XLR cable, which is really genius. I see a lot of other foot switches controlled by these little toothpick looking cable things, almost look like a MIDI switch, and they break all the time, and I'm really glad that somebody designed it this way. So to start off with some of the things you might have seen on the top here, I use all MXR pedals. I really like what they come out with. Basically this is just the clean section here. I use an analog chorus, and I use the carbon copy delay. Some people might not like chorus pedals, but recommend trying this one out. Definitely get yourself a carbon copy delay no matter what kind of music you play. This thing is freaking awesome. This is the best delay out there in my opinion. Basically everything's run through the loop, and it only goes to the clean channel, so those are only heard on my clean. I don't use anything for distortion. I use straight amp distortion and straight verb for solos and stuff. I don't use any delay or anything like that. So going to the front of the amp, let's just talk about the foot controller real quick. Foot controller, I can select 1 to 3 channels here. I've got the loop section here. Now these little switches here control if the loop comes on automatically. So like I said, I don't use the loop for channel 3 or channel 2, so I have it automatically selected 1. So even if I'm here on my crunch channel, if I switch over to channel 1, which is clean, the loop automatically comes on and I don't have to worry about it, which is a really, really nice feature to have, because I hate tap dancing on stage. I really do. The ISP decimator can be controlled here too. It only affects the other 2 channels, meaning channel 2 and channel 3, which are the crunch channels. It is always on, but it does, like I said, it does not affect the clean channel, so you never have to worry about turning it on or off when you're switching channels. Another really cool feature. Now this, you see this master, excuse me, get this out of the way. You see this master mid-range control here. What that does is on the amp here, we have master mid-range control. I can either cut the mids and push the levels of them, or I can push the mids and have more of a mid-rangey sound. So I like to cut the mids personally, because on my settings I have the mids about at 12 o'clock, maybe a little less. Sometimes I crank them depending on what venue we're playing at. But this is where my tone generally lies here, is in this master mid-range section. I cut the mids down and boost the level up, so that way when the mids are cut, the sound, I still cut through the mix, but I don't lose any volume, because when you cut mids, you lose volume too. So that's how I use that feature. If you guys want to know more about this amp, probably better than I could describe, just go to Egnator's website and read the manual or look at some other tutorials on it. Personally, I think it's one of the best metal amps out there. I really enjoy it, so go try one for yourself if you can. On to what I have in the front of the amp. Well, first off, I would normally have my wireless. I use the G30 wireless. If Line 6 G30 wireless, you guys don't know what that is, it's a little control pack, and it's pretty great. Its range is about 100 feet. It's pretty self-explanatory what it does, so I didn't really bother to bring it out because that one moves with me a lot. So in the actual front of the guitar input, so after my wireless, which would be here, goes into the wah. This is the Weeping Demon wah with the controllable frequencies. Really cool wah. I keep it on the auto feature, so I just step on it and it goes. Not much else I can say about it, that it's got a really cool tone, especially when you get it dialed into however you want, which is one of the key features, is getting the tone you want out of it. My personal favorite aspect of it is just the auto wah, because I hate pushing buttons, I hate clicking things, I've got too much going on stage, plus I'm fighting a 6'2" singer who is always in my way because he can't see, but I love him. So the auto wah feature is really great for me. Next up, I have my whammy. I bought this because I like to have fun with stuff. I really like the whammy pedal, especially when Tom Morello uses it, or in any other kind of music. I think Buckethead uses it a couple times. I use it for one or two songs. I think I use it for, there's one song we have called Separation that incorporates the 2-octave one with, if you've ever heard the solo in Killing in the Name Of by Rage Against the Machine, that's what Tom Morello uses in his, so I incorporated that into the ending of that song. And then in Primal, I used the double octave feature because Zach and I are playing a lower part of the riff, and I feel like that riff could sound like a keyboard could be playing over it, so what I use is the octave feature to kind of give it that effect. Basically, that's all I have in front of the house. It's a foot controller, my wireless, the wah, and the whammy. Like I said, I keep it super simple. I don't like to muddy all my tone up with pedals, even though I think there's a lot of cool stuff out there. There's just not a lot of stuff that I can think to integrate into my set just yet. I keep it simple. Let's just leave it at that. So let's go on to the main pieces here. I play all Schecter guitars. I have 4 of them, and these are 2 that I use live. So let's talk about this guy right now. This is a Schecter Blackjack SLS. It's a C1 FRS, the S standing for Sustainiac. Sustainiac is an electromagnetic driver. It creates infinite sustain, harmonics, and a whole bunch of cool stuff. There's tons of videos of these guitars online. Go check them out. Definitely check Schecter out if you haven't, because this is probably, if not the best guitar I've ever held in my hands. It is absolutely fantastic. It is just a great piece of wood. The other one you'll see is a Sin Special, Sinister Custom basically, except it's got black invader caps instead of the silver, no death bat or Sin inlays, neck through, Floyd Rose, pretty standard. It's a really good guitar. This is what I use for drop D, the other one is in drop C. Those are the tunings we play in. Not really much I can say about it. I mean, it's a really great guitar. A lot of people give me flack for playing signature models, but I wouldn't get them if I didn't think they were good. So I really like this guitar. It feels really good. It feels really solid. It doesn't feel cheesy ever, and neither does the other one. And that's a lot of the Schecters that I've played. And like I said, I have 4 of them, so obviously I like them a lot, and I want to stay with that company and hopefully get an endorsement at some point. But yeah. So string wise, we play, at least me, I play 10 to 52 clear tone strings. They're probably my favorite strings. I've played Ernie balls, I've played blue steels, don't like them. They all erode, they all break really easy. Clear tones, I can beat the heck out of them, bend the heck out of them. They stay in tune, they stay fresh a long time. I really love them. I really, really love those strings. There is nothing better on my fingers than a fresh set of clear tones. Product placement. So, that's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, I keep it super simple. Another thing I could mention is you probably haven't seen this blue guitar much. I just actually bought that one to replace, I guess I shouldn't say replace, more like retire the Sinister Custom that I have, which is the striped one you'll see in a lot of photos. Basically, I just kind of want to step away from that signature model. Like I said, signature models are really great. At least the ones that I have, I really like them. They're great guitars. I wouldn't have bought it if it was a cheesy, crappy guitar. Even though I do like Avenged Sevenfold, I bought the guitar because it was a good guitar. And that's what you should do when you buy a guitar. You don't base it off of looks, you base it off of sound, playability, and everything else. And then you look at the aesthetics of it. But I decided I want to play a lot more Schecter models because I want them to notice me. I want to get an endorsement through them. Like I said, I love the company. I really want to be a part of the Schecter family. So yeah, just explaining that. If you know that guitar, you don't see it anymore, I don't bring it with me. At some point I'll bring it with me as a backup just in case, but it does not enter the stage with me anymore, and it kind of sucks because that guitar's been through a lot of shows with me. But that is it for me. I'm glad you got on me about making this video because I feel really bad for not making it a while ago. Have a good night, and make sure you follow us, subscribe, like us on Facebook, and share our page.